Is this WBC throwing a little wrench into maybe some of the trade market and what could have been leading up to spring training?
I don't think so. I would be shocked if we didn't see multiple trades between now and spring training around the league, just based on the rhetoric we are hearing and the conversations that we're having. Whether we are among them remains to be seen, but the WBC is going to it brings us to spring training earlier and clearly takes a lot of impact players away for a period of time. But I think clubs are still going to go about their business and build their roster, the way they think they should. And, and the WBC is, it is going to be the tree that's falling, no matter if you're in the woods or out. They're going to play it. And we still have to go build our team the way we think it should be built over 162. And I do think that the pace at which this season's free agent market, proceeded, the top 50 free agents were off the board in a blink compared to most standard years. And I'm not sure there was enough time, through November, December, even, right up through, and I guess the coming out of the holidays, for the trade market to really, blow up. And I do think you'll see a handful of trades between here and spring training as teams. And you're watching it now with the Royals and the Twins and the Red Sox. There are moves happening. It's just a matter of whether we are a part of it.
Jerry, I don't know if there's a question that a director of baseball ops or a general manager or a manager despises more than talking about starting pitchers and innings limits. Like that's never an easy thing to traverse from a person in your perspective, but it is a topic that obviously needs to be discussed, and it was discussed greatly last year. It shouldn't be overlooked, and I'm afraid it might have been, or maybe we just all didn't appreciate it to the extent that we should have last year, that you had a rotation, Jerry, that went wire to wire. And it's a great credit to your training staff. It's a great credit to your pitchers themselves for taking the time and preparing well and recovering well. You're now in a position where, and we saw at the end of last year, obviously, Flexen was moved to the bullpen, and there was great thought in the community that you would be trading a pitcher at some point over this season. As we speak right now, you have, if you wanted, you have 6 starting pitchers, and you have a rotation where you have one especially young pitcher in Kirby. You have another young pitcher in Logan Gilbert. You have 3 guys who ended the season in your rotation that are established veterans. And one of those, Luis Castillo, maybe a part of the reason why he was so good down the stretch was that his arm was fresher than others. He did miss approximately a month of the year because of a shoulder issue, I believe, when he was with Cincinnati prior to the trade. So innings will again be something to monitor and to discuss and think about. You have 6 starters. Has there been thought internally of a 6-man rotation? How are you approaching how that will be forecasted for this season for your rotation, which is, of course, a major strength of your ball club right now?
Dating back to, I could go back to 2017 if I thought about it, with the number of times we've discussed, 6-man rotations or the viability of it. We did it for a period of time in 2019 and 2021. There are benefits to it. That said, we haven't really had that conversation with this group, and we are more likely to go into spring training with the 6 starters that you presently see. We're also more excited about the depth and back of our top 6. Guys like Dollard and Hancock and Wu and Miller who really excite us about the next, wave of pitching talent coming to Seattle. But we'll get to spring training, and we are going to be a little bit more methodical in how we develop our innings, especially, considering the young guys and what they did and taking that big step forward innings-wise. And that's where, it goes under the radar how valuable, Robbie Ray and Marco Gonzalez and even Flex, regardless of whether he was moved to the bullpen last year, these guys can go out there and churn innings. And give or take 10, you're going to throw about 1,450 innings in a year. And when you can get, a Ray or a Gonzalez or a Flexen who can go out and take out 185 to 210 of those innings and do it at league average or better rates in terms of run suppression, you're in a really good position, because that allows the other guys to do what they do. And we're seeing traits in Kirby and in Gilbert, and we know this to be true of Castillo. Like they have the impact ability.